Item number SCP-2385. Object class Ketter, previously Euclid. Special containment procedures. Observation Site 2385 has been established around the anomaly, and the quarry in which it was discovered has been purchased by the Foundation. An empty chamber has been constructed around SCP-2385's entrance. Entry into SCP-2385 beyond the first 10 meters is prohibited. Instances of SCP-2385-1 that either stray towards or are berthed near the entryway are to be lured into the antechamber. Specimens of Mus musculus are to be utilized for this purpose. The instance is to be tranquilized and relocated to a containment pen. Description: SCP-2385 is a subterranean network composed of undifferentiated human tissue. The matter is bioluminescent, emitting a constant 0.003 lumens. The tunnels that make up the structure wind and interlock, forming a multi-cursor maze. SCP-2385 has a single entrance point. Attempts to either access or assess SCP-2385 from the outside via tunneling and ground-penetrating radar, respectively, have been met with failure. Due to this, the true size of SCP-2385 is unknown. Mapping of the interior has also proven difficult, as its internal topography fluctuates sporadically. New paths will open in the walls, while other sections will close off. SCP-2385-1 and 2 are vermiform, worm-like life forms, which periodically grow within SCP-2385. SCP-2385-1 and 2 specimens typically range from 1 to 4 meters in length, with an average weight of 250 kilograms. They possess humanoid heads, which are connected to a muscular tail by a fatty midsection. SCP-2385-1 will violently assault anything they perceive to move, including each other. SCP-2385-1 will constrict incapacitated prey prior to consuming smaller organisms, and other SCP-2385-1 whole. SCP-2385-1 will attempt to penetrate larger prey and consume them from within. A pair of ventral jaws is used to manipulate prey items into the gullet. Instances of wander SCP-2385 with no apparent direction, and seem to be solely motivated by hunger. Research on specimens in captivity has revealed that they do not require sustenance, so the reason for this behavior is unknown. SCP-2385-2 instances are typically larger than their one counterpart and are identifiable by fibrous growth over their eyes. SCP-2385-2 are completely docile and have never been observed feeding. They will converge with one another and seem to travel through SCP-2385 with intent. Exploration SCP-2385-1 October 1st, 2003. D11424 was selected to ascertain the function of the anomaly and to determine whether manned exploration were feasible. D11424 was equipped with a shoulder-mounted camera, 1 week's supply of rations, 1 Ruger LC9, as well as several reserved magazines, a machete. Very little information was gleaned, as D11424 was struck by an instance of SCP-2385-1 and lost his camera 10 minutes into the exploration. Contact was lost, and D11424 was presumed dead. Exploration SCP-2385-2 December 21st, 2003. Forward. A remote-controlled drone, A-47, is sent into SCP-2385. Initial exploration video log transcript. Begin log. 1 minute. The camera shakes as A47 navigates the terrain. After 10 meters, the path spirals clockwise, leading to an intersection. To the left, 4 SCP-2385-1 are engaging each other in combat, while another 2 lie motionless. A47 is directed down the right path. 8 minutes. A47 continues down the path, which at this point should place the drone back within observational site 2385. Over a dozen unborn SCP-2385-1 and 2 are growing throughout this hall. See attached photo, and A47 is maneuvered around them. 19 minutes. An instance of SCP-2385-1 is laying to the side of the tunnel and is ingesting another instance. It lashes out when the drone draws near, but cannot fully emulate due to its feeding. 24 minutes. 3 fighting SCP-2385-1 block further progress. A47 directed to turn around. The path A47 had been traveling down can be seen to end abruptly. With no further options, A47 continues towards the instances. 26 minutes. The largest of the instances is killed, its head and tail are swallowed by the remaining SCP-2385-1, which begin to manipulate it down their throats. A47 is able to continue unimpeded. 29 minutes. An SCP-2385-1 instance, which has been spotted from afar growing from the ceiling, detaches as A47 passes beneath it. The instance attacks A47, rendering it immobile after several strikes. 31 minutes. The instance wraps around A47 and attempts to consume it. 43 minutes. The instance gives up and leaves the area. 9 hours and 32 minutes. The wall to A47's left opens up, and 2 SCP-2385-2 exits. One instance approaches A47 while the other one parts the wall to the right, which opens as well. D11424 emerges from the tunnel to A47's left, brandishing the machete. Both instances exit through the new tunnel, followed by D11424. 10 hours and 3 minutes. A47 runs out of battery. End log. Exploration SCP-2385-3, February 6th, 2004. Forward. An SCP-2385-2 specimen was taken from Foundation captivity, henceforth Subject Alpha, and anesthetized. After a micro-camera was surgically implanted, Subject Alpha placed within SCP-2385. 5 minutes to 21 minutes. SA wakes up and looks around before heading straight. It traverses SCP-2385 uneventfully for a few minutes, before coming across an open area filled with a fetal SCP-2385-1 instances. SA stops at several and can be seen rubbing its face against theirs. One instance thrashes and snaps at SA, though the bulk of its mass is still embedded within SCP-2385, restricting its movements. 39 minutes to 45 minutes. The path splits out into 3 different tunnels. SA selects a path and tries to continue, though it is apparently frightened by 2 SCP-2385-1 instances engaging in combat. Another can be briefly seen attempting to feed on a fetal instance growing from the ground. SA flees and selects another path. 1 hour 47 minutes. A nearby wall opens up and 2 SCP-2385-2 instances exit, 2B and 2C, and begin to travel the way SA came from. SA follows suit. 3 hours 22 minutes to 5 hours 31 minutes. The group encounters a lone SCP-2385-1, which attacks 2C. 2B wraps around and physically restrains it. For the next 2 hours, the group takes turns nuzzling the SCP-2385-1 instance. Notably, it develops the fibrous growth characteristic of SCP-2385-2 instances over its eyes. Afterwards, it is released and becomes docile. Henceforth, 2D, 5 hours 33 minutes to 12 hours 42 minutes. The group continues through SCP-2385. At various points, they are observed prodding the walls of SCP-2385 to produce new paths. At 11 hours 15 minutes, SCP-2385 shifts and encloses the group. 2D and 2B feel about the walls, eventually producing an alternate route. At this point, they confront an SCP-2385-1. Note, this was the largest specimen to be recorded, at approximately 7 meters in length and estimated to weigh over 400 kilograms. Instance blocking further progress. 2B and 2C are observed to nuzzle each other prior to 2B charging the SCP-2385-1 instance. The group crawls over and around the instance as it consumes 2B. 2C remains behind. 27 hours 21 minutes. 2D is ambushed from a side tunnel. The larger instance drags it around the bend and out of sight, and the opening seals shut. 33 hours 57 minutes to 34 hours 18 minutes. SA encounters an SCP-2385-1 instance, which chases it through SCP-2385. SA selects a path which terminates after several meters, trapping it. SA does not defend itself as the instance attacks and subdues SA and begins to feed on it. At 34 hours 11 minutes, a male voice can be heard shouting. Prior to D11424 coming into view, he kills the instance with his machete and kneels down next to SA. "Hey there, little guy, you alright?" D11424 leans in and pets SA. "Yeah, you're fine. Get up. I know where it is. Come with me." 34 hours 19 minutes to 34 hours 41 minutes. D11424 leads SA through the area, stopping at one point to carve a piece out of SCP-2385, which he consumes. 24 hours 43 minutes. The path opens up into a large room with a bright luminescent sphere levitating a meter off the ground, estimated to be 10 meters in diameter. Here we are. D11424 walks over to the sphere and places a hand on it. "You ready?" 24 hours 44 minutes. SA approaches D11424. It alternates between looking at the sphere and the path they came down. "So alright. They'll come back. They always do. Come on now." D11424 beckons towards the sphere. 34 hours 46 minutes. SA prods at the sphere and pushes its way inside. 34 hours 47 minutes. Unknown. Personnel that viewed the live feed were found to be incapable of describing what they have witnessed. Subsequent playbacks terminate at 34 hours 46 minutes. Addendum Scp-2385a. On the day of Exploration 3's conclusion, Maya Beep of Elgin, Illinois, was admitted to the local hospital, complaining of abdominal pains and suffering vaginal bleeding. An emergency surgery was performed upon the discovery of a foreign object lodged within her uterus, which was found to be a micro camera. Agent Nagamura was dispatched to investigate. Nagamura was able to confirm that the item serial number matched the one implanted within SA and confiscated it. Multiple articles covering the event in hyperbole were issued through Foundation-owned Bizarre News publications. Object reclassified as Ketter. Item number SCP-3247. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-3247 is to be contained in an isolated chamber in Site 5. Note: personnel are to be reminded that this is an error. Site 5 does not exist. Update: Area 12's Arachnic Wing. SCP-3247 has shown no need for sustenance or rest. Though, as per Ethics Committee request, A television has been installed in SCP-3247 cell along with a selection of silent films. The feeding system for SCP-3247-A has been fully automated and should deposit 20 grams of live crickets on a weekly basis. In the event of a containment breach, personnel are to compel escaped SCP-3247-A instances to take on an immobile form and place them back within their cell. Description: SCP-3247 is a humanoid entity, roughly 1.7 meters in height. The entity wears a striped pullover with suspenders as well as white makeup on its face and exposed skin. Testing has revealed that SCP-3247's clothing and makeup are unable to be removed and are suspected to be part of the organism. Further testing of SCP-3247's physical properties is hindered by its primary anomalous effect. SCP-3247 is intangible and thus incapable of directly interacting with any matter, with the exception of SCP-3247-A instances. SCP-3247 is host to a colony of arachnids designated SCP-3247-A, which live on and within the entity. SCP-3247-A instances are defensive of SCP-3247 and are easily provoked, and they instinctively swarm organisms in SCP-3247's vicinity. If, however, SCP-3247-A witnesses a human subject pantomiming or making particular gesticulations, the colony will coordinate and order themselves in a rough approximation of an inanimate object based off this body language. SCP-3247-A will remain in this state for up to 3 hours or until prompted to shift form. While they are in the shape of an object, SCP-3247-A take on some of the object's properties and are somehow able to function despite being composed wholly of spiders. SCP-3247 has to date not attempted to speak to staff, with its attempts at communication being limited to miming actions. SCP-3247 has not expressed discomfort in hosting SCP-3247-A, though it does display annoyance due to the mimicry prompted by its own gesticulation, presumably because the use of props is antithetical to SCP-3247's preferred method of performance art. Testing log: SCP-3247-A. Test number: gesture, procedure, listed gesture performed, and any procedural modifications. Results: outcome of test. Test 3. Gesture procedure: closed fist with both the thumb and index finger extended. Results: SCP-3247-A situated themselves in the form of a handgun. After receiving clearance from control, D-11424 was cleared to pick up SCP-3247-A and attempt to fire it. It proved capable of firing individual spiders at high velocity. Test 15. Gesture procedure: thumb and index finger pressed together. Remaining fingers extended. OK. Results: 4 dozen SCP-3247-A paired off to form what seemed to be marijuana cigarettes. D-11424 was successful in lighting and smoking 1 pair until they were reduced to ash. D-11424 reported feelings and sensations consistent with the typical effects of cannabis, with the added effect of perceiving all humans as possessing arachnid heads while within his visual periphery. Test 128. Gesture procedure: subject held hands together and wriggled 4 fingers on each hand, pantomiming a spider. Roughly 640 spiders emerged from SCP-3247 and divided themselves in groups of 8. Each group then came together in the shape of a larger spider. These groups themselves then merged with 7 other groups to form even bigger spiders. This continued until the last remaining supergroups merged into one enormous spider made of spiders. It was at this point that D-11424 proceeded to ride the resulting mega spider in a fashion similar to Western bull riding. Subject was reprimanded after testing ended, but allowed to stay with the project. Test 133. Gesture procedure. Subject shadowboxed. A mass of approximately 30,000 spiders emerged from the subject and continued to attack and incapacitate D11424. Guards nearby had to interfere and bring D11424 to the nearest infirmary. Test 475. Gesture procedure. Subject pantomime steering a wheel. Result. An unprecedented number of spiders emerged from SCP-3247 and arranged themselves in the shape of a sedan. D11424 reprimanded for refusing to get inside in order to attempt to start it. D11424 responded to control by making a masturbatory hand gesture, to which SCP-3247A responded by dismantling themselves and forming approximately 200 phalluses. Test aborted. Item number SCP-3689. Object Class Ketter. Special Containment Procedures. A copy of SCP-3689's recipe is stored in a restricted document locker. Foundation bought iodine is to monitor food blogs and cooking sites for keywords matching SCP-3689 ingredients. Foundation elements embedded in national government are to ensure the passing and strict enforcement of anti-whaling laws. Violators are to be investigated for knowledge of SCP-3689. Description: SCP-3689 is a formerly hypothetical sandwich defined by the info-hazardous recipe, universally dubbed the Kraken's Belly for those who conceive it. SCP-3689's recipe consists of an abnormal list of ingredients and a detailed specific method of preparation. If a person learns the entire process and is able to visualize making SCP-3689, they will become subject to SCP-3689's effect. Due to human curiosity and imagination, as well as common seafood culinary methods, SCP-3689's recipe has been recreated in a person's mind by knowing as few as 15 of the ingredients and 5 steps of the preparations. SCP-3689 ingredients deemed unlikely by Razor and the culinary department to lead a full conceptualization include lemon, fresh whale, barbecue sauce, white chocolate chips, imitation crab, bacteria, any, gold, wood shavings from a boat that sailed through a storm. Subjects aware of SCP-3689 experience the sensation of severe hunger and thirst, stomach pains, and lose the ability to taste or smell. These people are convinced that the only way to alleviate these symptoms is to prepare SCP-3689 and eat it. Amnestation of affected subject is ineffective, requiring dangerously high doses to remove memory of all ingredients. Otherwise, subjects frequently reimagine SCP-3689 by idly extrapolating. Due to the rarity of several ingredients, most attempts to create SCP-3689 end in the subject either attempting to finish the sandwich using substitutes or giving up entirely. If an imperfect sandwich is created and eaten, SCP-3689 symptoms usually subside over 2 to 4 days. SCP-3689 was discovered following the suicide of a disgraced chef during investigation and cataloging of his anomalous possessions. SCP-3689's recipe was fragmented and written into various cookbooks and journals. Addendum SCP Testing Note. D class allowed to create and consume SCP-3689 in preliminary testing report no extraordinary quality to the sandwich and demanifest. While the room they are in floods, subjects remanifest between 30 minutes and 6 hours later, accompanied by the room flooding again, and have little to no memory of the experience beyond vague recollections of a ship and captain. In a later test, D11424 prepared and consumed the sandwich with slight difficulty due to the unwieldiness of the split tentacles, and reported sandwich to taste okay, but still missing something. The kitchen immediately flooded with seawater, and D11424 vanished. Limited footage later recovered from D11424's body camera showed him swimming in an ocean before being lifted onto a passing wooden sailing ship and greeted by an indistinct figure dressed as a 16th century pirate, shortly before the camera was damaged in a sword fight. The kitchen flooded again approximately 7 hours later, and D11424 remanifested in a small rowboat filled with gold coins, various fish, an ornate cutlass, and a decorated three-cornered hat. He reported vague memories of challenging the Kraken alongside the captain, as well as consuming part of said Kraken by adding it to a new SCP-3689 sandwich, which appeared to have significantly enhanced the flavor. D11424 additionally requested and was granted permission to keep the hat. Item Number SCP-3379 Object Class Euclid Special Containment Procedures or sea traffic within 15 kilometers of SCP-3379 is to be rerouted. 2 boats are to patrol the area surrounding SCP-3379. SCP-3379-1 instances are to be delivered to the nearest research site for study. Description: SCP-3379 is a rectangular portal approximately 8 meters beneath the surface of the Arctic Ocean, measuring 10 meters by 15 meters and surrounded by a concrete frame. SCP-3379 is located 12 kilometers north of Bashkirfik Island, Russia. Objects hereafter designated SCP-3379-1 sporadically emerge from SCP-3379 and float to the surface. No pattern has yet been found to the timing of SCP-3379-1 manifestations. SCP-3379-1 instances vary widely in composition and appearance. Approximately 70% of SCP-3379-1 instances appear to be carcasses of living organisms in various states of preservation. As of January 1st, 2018, over 350 instances have been recovered. Instance Description: 3. A dead albino walrus. Displays no other anomalous properties. 11. A mass of fat and bone fragments. DNA sequences appear cetacean in origin, but do not completely match any known species. 41. 12 sets of gills wrapped in a synthetic polymer packaging. DNA sequences match those of SCP-924. 62. A large glass jar containing shark fins suspended in a saline gel. 89. A 16-meter-long azomosaur neck, heavily decomposed. 119. A mason jar containing an unidentified liquid. Exposure to the liquid causes strong nostalgic feelings. Chemical analysis of the liquid revealed the presence of sodium chloride, ethanol, piperin, beta-endorphin, and several dozen uncharacterized organic compounds. To date, SCP-3379's edge can only be crossed by sentient beings. Testing with fish equipped with cameras failed to reveal any hostile forces on the other side of the edge. Thus, a preliminary exploration was approved. Exploration Log 3379-1. Forward. D11424 was provided with an insulated wetsuit, a knife, a flashlight, a camera, and 2 hours of air supply, as well as radio communications device in order to relay back to Dr. Ossio, the exploration coordinator. Begin log. D11424 appears approximately 4 meters from the precipice of SCP-3379. Everything looks good. Ready? Well, I did say I always wanted to be a diver. Let's do this. Alright, remember to call things as you see them. Got it? Proceed through SCP-3379. Okay, going in. D11424 swims through SCP-3379 and disappears from external view. D11424's camera shows a large number of concrete gates similar in appearance to SCP-3379, arranged in a two-dimensional grid pattern. Surroundings are indistinct. As the lighting is low, but ground appears contiguous with the ocean floor. D11424 does not appear to notice this, as he is facing downwards while continuing to swim. Can you still hear me? Loud and clear, Doctor. Describe your surroundings. I feel like I'm in water, but I'm able to stand on the ground. I see. Whoa! Continue. There's a sort of wall here. There's hundreds of concrete gates, just like the one I just went through, all lined up. Anything else? Not sure. It's pretty dark here. There's a bit of ambient light coming from above, but not much. Crap, there's something moving over there. I'm gonna check out the next gate. No movement was visible on the camera. Alright. D11424 swims through the aperture immediately to the left of SCP-3379. What do you see? Still watery, but it's more clouded. I think I am in a river. I can feel a small current. Make sure you swim close to the gate. Yeah, of course. Man, there's some freaky fish in here. Don't look like any I've ever seen. Several semi-transparent fish, about the size of salmon, swim past, followed by a larger serpentine creature roughly half a meter in length. Be careful. Yeah, they might be anomalous piranhas or something. Hold on. There's a big school of big fat ones coming towards me. Make sure. Crap! Several large red fish with 4 eyes bump into D11424, sending him downstream for an indeterminate distance before he grabs onto a rock to hold himself still. Is everything alright? Damn it! The current is much stronger here. I'm only still because of this rock. Stay calm. Can you see the portal you came through? Can you swim back towards it? No and no. Are there any portals visible? D11424 scans his surroundings before spotting the serpentine creature from before. No apertures are visible. I'm going to have to go with no. I think I can see the surface of the water. Permission to try and make it to a riverbank? Permission granted. Alright, here goes. D11424 takes several looks at his surroundings, glances at the serpentine creature, which now appears to be holding several fish in its mouth, and then pushes himself off the rock towards a natural stone wall. D11424 makes several noises of exertion and is pushed further downstream before surfacing and holding onto a crag in the rock wall. Whew! Did you see that? Did you see that? D11424 looks out a wide river, flanked on one side by a large stone cliff and the other by dense forest. Yes, I saw it. Now describe your surround. Oh! Several creatures resembling walruses are seen surveying the riverbank. They possess blonde hair stylized in a mullet and black leather jackets with various decorations. A large net drags behind them, attached to a belt by hooks. And I see a portal. Behind the walruses can be seen another portal with a clear path leading to it from the riverbank. Report on your situation. Walruses, riverbank, portal. I think if I can climb over there, I can get out. Oh, of course I can climb over to where I think a portal and the water is, and work that out. But continue to observe the walruses. Really? The walruses, the weirdos. They are doing nothing to nobody. The walruses throw an egg into the water. Just fishing, may I return? Dr. Ozio pauses, as she is conferring with the research team for input. Oh, screw it, I'm going. Please wait for input. I am a free interdimensional man. I am going. D11424 begins to scale the rock wall. He ascends approximately 5 meters before pausing. Whew! This isn't as easy as I thought it would be. Maybe I'll... Crap! D11424 loses his grip and falls into the river. 11424! D11424 is swept further downstream. I'm okay. Just slipped. Need to find another rock. Ugh! What was that? A large number of iridescent green fish, resembling catfish, obscured the camera. I'm trapped in something along with these fish. Can you... It's a net! Good. Try to cut yourself out with your knife. What do you think I'm doing? And now we're moving. The net containing D11424 and the fish surfaces. Can you see anything? Fish are blocking the camera. It's the walruses. They hold us up. And they're a bit bigger up close. How big? I don't know, maybe 15 feet, also known as squid in metric. Have they noticed you yet? No, thankfully. Good. That leather must have come from some big cow. The net stops moving. Uh-oh. What? 4 of the walrus entities are now visible and are looking at D11424. I think they see me. Are they hostile? So far, no. At this point, 2 of the entities begin to vocalize to one another and gesture towards D11424. I think they're deciding what to do with me. Well, one entity opens the net and lifts up D11424 seemingly by his leg. Unhand me, foul beast! The 2 entities converse again. Well, they haven't killed me yet. A third entity inspects D11424 and begins to vocalize excitedly and gesture to the other entities. Should I start swinging the knife? Negative. I'm getting kinda dizzy here. The entities return D11424 to the net, tie it closed, and haul it into a large wagon. That's better. Where are they taking you? To the border by the riverbank, looks like. This is where I tell you were right, huh? You don't have to. All right, see you on the other side. Hope I'm not sacrificed to something. D11424 is carried through the portal and emerges into a desert environment. Several unidentified birds can be seen flying overhead. Motion continues to suggest D11424 is being carried. Be real with me. What are the chances I get out of this alive? Slim. They look like my high school bullies. Smell like them, too. That might be the fish, though. I'm gonna be honest. My knife is doing jack squat. The rope is too thick. Any ideas? None so far. Looks like I'm in for a ride. Oh, hey, that's a much better looking portal. D11424 turns camera to face towards an aperture in the desert that the walruses appear to be moving towards. The border is made of polished red stone, and several ornate designs are visible. The inside is obscured by the walruses. Oh yeah, this is me getting sacrificed. Calling it now. The sound of the large crowd becomes audible as the walruses approach the aperture. Oh God, what is that stench? The walruses cross over. The sky is dull white and appears to have a solid boundary. No sun nor stars are visible. The source of the lighting is unknown. God, it's like being inside a fish's stomach. Wait, when did I lose my scuba gear? Describe your surroundings. Right, we're still moving. Nothing but a weird fake sky and novel smells. There's other, not really people, I guess, but things walking around all over the place here. Actually, scratch that. We just went past a crowd of elfises. I'm sorry, repeat? You heard me, elfises. Pouring a gigantic cart with chopped up, train pieces on it, and we stopped. Alright, your camera is still obscured with fish, so call out things as you see them. You got it. There's plenty of fancy-looking gates, kind of like the one we went through to get here. All shapes and sizes, just past one the size of a condo. Had gold edges all around. Some 6-legged giants walked out through there. Describe the layout. You mentioned the sky, but it's still a horizon. Not sure. There's a wharf gate, like earlier. where everyone seems to come through. It seems like to be a bit curved. I can't quite see where it ends. Away from the wall, I can't tell. It looks endless. Which direction are they taking you? We were going directly away from the wall, but then we turned to the right. There's stands and canopies everywhere. I can't see the horizon. The wagon stops. All right, we're stopped. Time to get disemboweled. The net is emptied onto a wooden shelf, and D11424 appears to be bound by the walruses and covered by a sheet. I'm not really into this. One of the walruses begins vocalizing as several sets of footsteps and creaking wheels draw close. So, Cooper, my man, got the usual. What is perceived as English by listeners is, upon study of the audio, a series of unrelated vocalizations that more closely match the mouth movements made by associated entities. Despite the mind-affecting nature, testing has revealed no negative effects of exposure. Oh yeah, Muxpew, get the cash in the hole. Aye, Erickson. Another walrus vocalizes. You got a what? Sure, we might be right for a trade, depending on what you got, of course. The sheet covering D11424 is whisked away. The entities speaking to the walruses appear to be humans dressed in traditional Viking garb, with small glowing charms decorating the belts and helmets and beards. Whoa, Spellcover, that ain't no fish. You seriously couldn't tell he looks like one of us. So, Cover vocalizes softly. Well, yeah, he's got no beard, but whatever. Hey, you, can you understand me? Me? Of course you, who else? You speak English? English? I'll give you 6 extra rockfish for him. So Cripper bears his tusk and vocalizes loudly. You've lost your mind. 12 then. So Cripper nods and shakes the Viking's hand with Flipper. A second Viking pursuit named Muxpew hefts a large crate of flat purple fish and exchanges it for a crate of Soul Cripper's green fish. Lusher doing business with ya. So, my friend, how'd you find yourself in this pickle? I was, exploring and I got lost. Heh, you're a long ways from your home, I take you back to the water with us, but I'm banished from there myself, Banished? You? If you know which way you came through, we can help guide you before we head back. Well, could you point me to the border the walruses come through? I got turned around on the way in, but once I get back to the world, I can find my way back home. Sure thing. Bundle up. Go ahead and take the stagfish and trade with the Euclid. I'll escort our pal here to the doors. Several of the charms in his beard gleam temporarily. I really appreciate that, man. Right. Now make yourself useful and hold these bags, okay? Erickson and D11424 continue walking for about 10 minutes. I don't remember going this way. It's a shortcut, friend. Trust me. Right. Erickson stops at a large store covered in an ornate red canopy. Just need to make a wee stop. Got you something for the road, as it were. Cool, you don't really have to, I mean. I insist, on me honor. Now stand right there. It'll be a surprise. All right. D11424 looks around. A crash is heard, followed by both Erickson and an unidentified voice yelling. The canopy collapses. Wait, what? Several tentacles reach out from underneath the leg of the canopy, wiggling wildly. Instead of suckers, the tentacles possesses 4-fingered hands. 2 of these tentacles attempt to seize D11424 and Erickson. The latter room successfully evades. Oh, come on! Thieves! Erickson, you bastard! Erickson whistles and several charms in his beard begins to glow. A glowing blue barrier resembling sheet music forms between him and a mass of tentacles. Dragon with his companions returns, and Erickson jumps aboard with his stolen goods. Screw you! D11424 bites several of the fingers on the tentacles, causing it to release him. Through! I'm out of here. Dr. Osseo, which way? I'm not sure. Just get out of here and we'll work it out. D11424 begins running. Yay, static! That's always a good sign. Everyone can hear me. I think the coast is clear. The tentacle thing is chasing down the Vikings now. Now to find my way out of here. D11424 wanders for a few minutes before stopping at a crude pyramid composed of stacked beating hearts, all singing in harmony. Okay, yeah, I remember hearing this one on the way in. I think I'm going the right way. Commotion can be heard. D11424 begins running once again. Okay, maybe not out of the woods yet. Where do I... An entity made entirely of cardiovascular muscles approaches D11424 and begins vocalizing by pumping at irregular intervals, which push air through pipes on top of its head. Okay, never mind, going away. That was not a fun time, D11424 approaches a pit with a small fence around it. Something shiny, wet, and several shades of purple is briefly visible over the precipice. D11424 gags. Oh, hey, Osseo, good news. Found the source of the smell. D11424 rounds the corner and comes upon a large rotting canine head. Inside, a small group of large mobile pocket knives, with 6 limbs made of butterfly knives and wings made of several different types of blades. All of the knife creatures are huddled around a pool of white ooze containing small strips of pink meat. Behind the pool is a desk, behind which a humanoid dog stands and appears to converse with the knives. Okay, nice. D11424 descends a spiral staircase and appears in a large red open hall, inside of which much commotion is audible and innumerable entities are visible. Also, I'm gonna admit something I don't admit often. I was wrong. This is definitely not the way I came in. Good talk. I'm lost. D11424 approaches a large concrete plaza with rows of human-like bodies suspended from oversized fishing hooks. Faded pink outlines on the ground are shaped like airplanes. Oh, God! No. D11424 wipes his mouth and sprints in the opposite direction. Fantastic! Well, seeing as people here seem to speak English for no really good reason, I suppose I will, Several pale, mouthless humanoid entities with wheel-like appendages instead of legs are seen staring at D11424 as they approach the stairs. What? Wood warriors, do I look funny to you? They surround D11424. 'Cause to be completely fair, you guys look very funny to me. One of the entities points above D11424. D11424 looks up and sees a large tube above him, with several triangle designs on its side. Looking down, a large yellow X can be seen underneath D11424's feet. Figures. D11424 is abruptly pulled upwards into the tube by some form of suction, and sent through a series of tubes. After sustaining several injuries, D11424 is expelled onto something soft. Static at this point is too prominent, and the room too dark for any clear image to be made out. Chirping and hooting can be heard. Oh, Jiminy Cricket, guys! Not only is my ankle definitely broken, along with the rib properly, this is definitely a pile of birds. News update. After running my hands over the thing, these are definitely fused birds. Wonderful. They did make my landing softer, though, which is nice. Oh, wow! Like, a minute went by without anything happening. That's new. Calming, comforting even. Okay, so it took a while, but I found it. The place where I die. I guess this is sacrifice enough. Sacrifice to the bird god or something. They're pretty noisy. Ow! That thing just pecked me! D11424 does not speak for 6 minutes, and intermittently hums music. Suddenly, all bird sounds stop. That definitely can't be a good sign. The area brightens. D11424 looks up and sees a large door opening above him. A large amorphous mass, visibly similar to white cloth and red stains reaches down from the opening. Bring it. The mass engulfs D11424. V cuts out entirely for about 1 minute. Whoever else, I don't think, can see or hear this. I can see nothing in here, just dark stuff. A maroon shape appears, shifting irregularly. Oh, yay, let's skip the middleman. I'll give blood to the coke god directly. What even are you? This shape extends and surrounds D11424 in several more cloth-like appendages. One of the appendages has a hand at its end, holding a knife. Crap! Help! The appendages completely engulf D11424. The entity emits a loud, low rumble. D11424 screams intermittently for about 4 minutes. It's cutting into me! 48 seconds of silence. Hear that voice. I'm, honored? Not sure if I got what you want. 23 seconds of static. Huh? Video returns in full as a cloth entity appears to shove a limb D11424 into what looks like a garbage chute. Several cranks are heard as D11424 descends before he emerges into a naturally lit square vertical shaft, which extends for an undetermined distance. Concrete portals from before line all 4 walls of the shaft, out of which piles of various meats are seen to fall. Where D11424 falls into a large body of water. After a minute of floating in place, D11424 is forcefully pulled down and towards the original SCP-2379 portal. Halfway there, D11424 begins to regain consciousness and resists the pull. His movements revealed that the pulling originates from several tendrils, with hands in place of suckers, similar to the ones encountered earlier. D11424 is ejected through SCP-2379 and emerges to swim to the surface. I survived! Holy crap! End log. D11424 was recovered by the onboard SCP-2379 research team and taken into the sickbay. D11424 was found to be missing 1 kidney, 2 fingers, his scuba gear, and was unable to remember anything starting from his 6th birthday and ending on his 8th. D11424 reported the experience to be traumatizing but fun overall. Item number SCP-4849. Object class Safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-4849 is stored in a low-priority storage locker in Site-234 and is to be sustained with 1 kg of lard weekly. Testing with SCP-4849 requires approval from the research head and site director. Description: SCP-4849 is a living sentient sheet of adipose tissue, cut and designed to be worn as a protective suit. In its inert state, SCP-4849 is shaped like a flattened human body and is 2 centimeters thick. When contact is made with a living person's skin, SCP-4849 will activate, fusing to the subject at the point of contact before stretching and enveloping the person completely. SCP-4849 can instantaneously generate mouths with diameters ranging from 0.6 to 30 centimeters anywhere on its surface. These mouths are connected to extra-dimensional throats of varying length and manifest and demanifest with no trace. SCP-4849 will only manifest these mouths when the wearer is attacked. The mouths will appear just long enough to swallow incoming projectiles and weapons before closing. While wearing SCP-4849, the subject speaks via a small mouth that appears somewhere on the face. This mouth demanifests during pauses in speech. SCP-4849 was discovered at a Prometheus Labs subsidiary facility following investigation of their work with SCP-3839. As the facility has been sealed but never shut down, MTF Key 6 prom date was deployed to enter and survey the facility. MTF Key 6 recovered several pieces of experimental bioprinting equipment, 2 anomalous machines later classified as SCP objects, and 12 terabytes of data. While exploring the lowest level, Key 6 operatives encountered SCP-4849 being worn by a human body. SCP-4849 engaged the MTF, who were unable to harm it with their weaponry. SCP-4849 was eventually incapacitated when one agent threw a gas grenade containing an emetic kill agent. SCP-4849 swallowed the grenade and subsequently flailed, opened 16 mouths, and vomited a mixture of congealed fat, bullets, and blood, before collapsing to the ground and deactivating. Upon deactivation, SCP-4849 flattened and detached from the wearer, revealing a corpse belonging to Dr. Lawrence Calloway, a former PL employee who had transferred to a subsidiary following the 1998 collapse. SCP-4849 was subsequently retrieved and brought to Site-234. Addendum: an attempt to explore one of SCP-4849's mouths was approved, and SCP-4849 was attached to a test subject, D11424. A small camera drone was attached to the cable and launched at D11424 using an improvised harpoon. As expected, SCP-4849 opened a mouth to ingest the payload. A metal brace was quickly inserted to hold the mouth open. Exploration Log 4849-1. Begin Log. Drone enters SCP-4849 mouth and activates lights. Interior of mouth is lined entirely with viscous yellow fat. Drone successfully collects a sample of this fat. D11424 does not appear to notice. Later analysis of sample reveals the presence of genetic markers similar to those in the main body of SCP-3839. Approximately 25 meters into the throat, a section appears containing significant scarring. Walls of the throat are noted to produce small amounts of an uncharacterized organic acid. 45 centimeters into the throat, small, approximately 1 centimeter, villi begin to line the walls. These villi undulate rhythmically and follow the path of the drone's lights. 80 meters in, the villi are now over 5 centimeters long. An attempt to take hold of the drone, which evades successfully. D11424 scratches at his throat and attempts to cough. The drone exits the other end of the throat after 119 meters and enters a large atmospheric space approximately 75 meters in diameter. Several hundred throats similar to the one the drone traveled through are visible on the walls and ceiling of the space. The drone tilts down, revealing the floor of the space to be submerged in bubbling acid in distinct viscera. A large gelatinous tendril emerges from the liquid and attempts to engulf the drone. The drone manages to escape, but the main camera is obscured by the grease, and the drone switches to backup camera. The drone points up, revealing a larger opening on the ceiling of the space, approximately 20 meters wide. The drone flies up to enter this cavity, which is lined with salivating tongues of varying lengths and shapes. A low rumbling sound is heard. As the drone ascends further, the tongues lining the tunnel become branched, before further differentiating and resembling hands and arms by approximately 180 meters. D11424 exhibits signs of discomfort and coughs. Simultaneously, 29 small mouths open on SCP-4849, which all cough in unison before closing. The drone continues upward. D11424 clutches his stomach and screams, muffled. The tunnel contracts and pulsates rhythmically. The drone is struck from above by a large amount, estimated 200,000 liters of liquid fat, and crushed. Remaining camera notes the presence of humanoid and other bodies within the fat, in various states of preservation, before shutting off. The mouth closes, crushing the brace and severing the cable. 3 minutes later, a new SCP-4849 mouth opens on D11424's leg and retches. Expelling the cable, pieces of the drone, and 17 human brains, SCP-4849 subsequently deactivated and detached from D11424. End log. Item number SCP-4479. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-4479 is kept within a standard safe lockbox, placed at the bottom of a 30-meter vertical shaft in Site-31's lowest floor. This area is not to have any temporary or permanent doors leading to it. Any new entrances to SCP-4479-1 are to be secured and sealed with concrete immediately after discovery. Description: SCP-4479 is a polished brass doorknob. When SCP-4479 makes contact with a door-like structure, it will affix itself to the surface of the structure as if attracted by magnetism. Once affixed, the structure can then be opened by simply turning SCP-4479, regardless of pre-existing doorknobs, locks, or obstructions that would prevent this. Opening a structure using SCP-4479 leads to a pocket dimension, designated SCP-4479-1. The nature and size of SCP-4479-1 vary depending on the specific portal used. The interior walls of SCP-4479-1 are usually similar in composition to the material of the portal. Testing Log 4479-1. Test 3. Procedure: SCP-4479 affixed to jam breach gate in Corridor 12. Gate had previously malfunctioned due to debris from prior breach becoming lodged in the mechanism. Results: Gate's lid fully opened, leading to a large space resembling a standard containment chamber. Debris originally found in the gate lay in one corner of the room. Test 8. Procedure: Safe welded shut and locking mechanism broken beyond repair. SCP-4479 affixed. Results: Door safe opens without resistance. Resultant SCP-4479-1 instance composed of interlocking gears and steel plate. At the far end of the space, a second sealed safe door was visible. Test 37. Procedure: Unscheduled. SCP-4479 accidentally affixed to researcher Mendoza's eyelid during inspection. Results: Turning and moving SCP-4479 generated an SCP-4479-1 instance accessible through researcher Mendoza's eye socket. Imaging of this space via endoscopy tube revealed a spherical space approximately 1.5 meters in diameter, lined with veins encoded in vitreous humor. Test 62. Procedure: SCP-4479 affixed to large flat rock on a hillside. Results: Turning SCP-4479 allowed one end of the rock to be lifted with ease, as if on a hinge. This revealed a trapdoor-like opening under the rock that was not previously present. This opening led to a cavern approximately 2,500 cube meters in size. Test 119. Procedure: A standalone door was set up in an open field and SCP-4479 affixed. Results: Door opened to an SCP-4479-1 instance composed of aluminum similar to that of the doorframe. A single wooden door was present on the opposite end. See Addendum 4479-2. Addendum 4479-2. In an attempt to explore SCP-4479-1, Exploration Specialist D11424 was deployed to map out the pocket dimension. D11424 was provided with a standard communications, a backpack with 1 day's worth of rations, and a tether mounted in baseline reality. Exploration log 4479. Begin log. D11424 enters SCP-44791 and approaches the back door with SCP-4479 in hand. So, you just want me to attach the doorknob to the door and open it? No, try to open it normally first. Right. D11424 tries to open the door using the doorknob currently attached to it. It does not open. It's locked. Looks like I don't have the key. Alright, now try it with the other doorknob. D11424 retrieves a screwdriver from his pack and unscrews the doorknob that is attached to the door. Then he places SCP-4479 in the slot. After screwing SCP-4479 into the door, he turns it and opens the door. So, you just want me to enter the door? Yes, is there something wrong with that? No, I'm just more used to ominous caves and whirlpools. I guess I'm more of a hose guy than a door guy. There's a first time for everything then. Alright, I'll get going. D11424 enters the door. Inside is a chamber where the walls, floor, and ceiling all consist of wooden doors lined against each other, each within its own frame. The doorknobs attached to each of the doors are identical to SCP-4479. D11424 detaches SCP-4479 from the first door and places it in his pack. Wow, it's like I'm in Middle-earth. Excuse me? Well, everywhere I look, there's just Mordor. Why do we let you do this again? Just tell us what's in the damn room. Nah, it's just me and these. D11424 walks into the center of the chamber and crouches down. He smells doors on the ground. What are you doing? I used to do some carpentry. So, you're some sort of door whisperer? D11424 knocks on the door. Yes, and I like that noted on my quarters when I get back. D11424 moves to the walls and begins knocking and smelling the doors there. Oak. Excuse me? Oh, me out of oak. Oh, noted. But do any of them open? Getting to that. D11424 opens one of the doors on the walls and enters a location resembling a self-storage facility. Corrugated metal lifting doors line both sides of a long hallway. D11424 continues down this hallway for 300 meters before reaching the end and entering a new room. It is identical to the previous room except instead of wooden doors, all of the doors are metallic, and in the middle of the room there is a structure resembling a table with the legs made out of door frames, and the top being the entire door itself. Looks like they put furniture in this one. Well, if you're feeling adventurous, we have more ideas for tests you could perform. Oh, adventures. I'm all ears. Try the knob on the table door. On it. D11424 walks to the table and attaches SCP-4479 to the top of it. He rotates SCP-4479 and pulls, which causes the door to rotate in place, even though there is nothing securing it to its current location. D11424 retrieves SCP-4479 and steps through the door. He is suddenly rotated 90 degrees and deposited on the floor of another similar room. In this room, all of the doors appear to be made of glass and do not have hinges or doorknobs. In the center of the room is a pylon with a blue button with a standard handicap icon. Ouch! Are you okay? Yeah, I just sort of fell on my face there a little. You want to do more experiments? Actually, I think that's all we need for now. You sure? There's a really interesting button here. D11424 approaches the button. We're sure, D11424. Do not push the button. Well, I'm going to push it off the record then. D11424 pushes the button. All of the doors in the room open simultaneously, including the doors in the floor which D11424 is standing on. D11424 falls into another room from the ceiling. However, the footage was too blurry to adequately distinguish features of the room before it passes out of view. God, that's twice in one outing! Once the camera regains focus, it is apparent that D11424 is in a confined space without any source of light. D11424 retrieves a flashlight from his pack and turns it on. The space is illuminated and shown to be a revolving door slightly larger than D11424. The door wings and floor are made of tinted glass and the perimeter is metallic. D11424's tether is clamped in between where the left and right walls meet. I said not to touch it! My curiosity got the better of me. You ought to be disciplined once you get out for disobeying orders. I know, just trying to get out for the moment. Fine. Where do you think you are? I think I'm trapped in a revolving door. It's like it's supposed to be rotating, but the tether jammed it. Actually, one moment. Take as many as you need, not exactly going anywhere. Mumbling can be overheard from command. Alright, since you're still in there, we're going to try another experiment. Oh, you're spoiling me. You're still being disciplined when you get back. It's just convenient. Lay it on me, Chief. Do you still have the doorknob? D11424 pulls SCP-4479 out of his pack. Right here. Okay, so try to affix it to the left door part of the revolving door. What's the worst that could happen? D11424 affixes SCP-4479 to the glass. You of all people should know better than to say that. D11424 turns SCP-4479 and pulls. Glass wall moves 20 degrees before getting stuck and cracking slightly. D11424 pulls harder. Come on, you cheap! D11424 attempts to squeeze in through the gap, but the glass wall shatters completely. D11424 falls forward through the resulting opening, lands on another large wooden door. SCP-4479 lands approximately 10 meters away. As he regains his footing, he turns around and the camera is able to refocus and view a larger space. This space is filled with constructs that resemble oversized interlocking gears with entire doors in place of spokes. Nearly all gears are moving steadily. Ow! D11424 picks up SCP-4479 and walks to the center of the gear he is standing on. Right, okay. We're talking at least 400-500 meters in any direction, but there's too many gears to make out any kind of horizon. Come to think of it, I have no idea how I'm able to see anything. There's no sky or visible light source anywhere. Do you want me to try the knob again, or just explore for a bit? Yes, keep scouting this area for now. You got it. D11424 places SCP-4479 back in his pack and climbs onto an adjacent vertical gear, riding it upward. A loud creaking noise is heard. A bright light appears from behind D11424, who turns around. A large, indeterminate metal object comes into view in the air above D11424. D11424 jumps from doorspoke to doorspoke in an attempt to reach the object. As the object pulls away from D11424, he is able to climb on top of the object. It retracts through a large glowing portal, which temporarily oversaturates the camera. Can't this thing just leave me on my feet for once? It's all falling over and scraping up my knees with this place. When the camera readjusts to the lighting around it, D11424 is lying on the ground of what appears to be a large warehouse with concrete floor and walls. The ceiling is not visible from the ground. D11424 stands up. Whoa! What is it now? That's a lot of doors. How many? I don't know, man. I'm no mathematician. Just imagine you stole all the doors from the whole world. This place is so huge, I can't see the ceiling or the far walls. Before you explore, can you identify where you came in through? D11424 turns around. Crap! Not really. The tether stretches off into the horizon. How much line do we even have? Never mind that. Do any doors in particular look suitable to start with? Hang on, I think I hear something. Like a thumping or knocking. D11424 approaches the 11th door, henceforth door K. I think it's snoring. Hello? Door K opens and closes in time with the spoken words. Huh? What? D11424 jumps back. What the hell? Who dare disturb me from my slumber? A talking door, sure, okay. Of course I'm a door commoner. What else would I be? Were you always a door? I don't know. Were you always simple-minded? I'm just gonna go find another door. Wait! I don't get many visitors. May I frame my tale for you? No thanks, Listen to it. Fine. Go on. This tale begins many, many years ago. Before I took the form that you see here today, I was once like you, a lost, wandering, slightly unhinged man. You were once a human? Excuse me, but this is my story, so sit back and pay attention, you knob. And yes, I was once a man. I came across an artifact. At the time, I knew not that my entire destiny hinged on its discovery. Hinged. A knob, which I placed at the portal of my life and turned to open the door to a new life. I learned something, you see. D11424 holds up SCP-2479. Was it anything like this one? Not at all. Yet all knobs are the same, in the end. Also mine was gold and fancier. Anyway, I ventured through doors and behind doors, and then further still to the doors beyond doors, and the doors which are not doors, deeper and deeper, until I paid the terrible price for my discovery. And that's when you turned into a door. Ha! Despite my being a door, you're making it incredibly difficult to open up to you. Yes, since you decided to ruin my escalation, but I have found that when God closes one door, he opens a window, or in my case, another door. What does that even mean? Enough! I have entertained this intrusion long enough. Now to return to my peaceful dormancy. Wait! At least tell me how to get out of here. No! If you don't, then I'll turn you the door and be stuck in here with you forever. You'll make an excellent case. Let me see that doorknob. Wait, how can you see? Through the keyhole. D11424 moves closer to door K. Much closer, boy. I did not retain my glasses when I became a door. D11424 places the doorknob inches away from the keyhole. Door K swings open abruptly, hitting D11424 in face. Ouch! What the hell? Have you heard of personal space? You're the one who said to come closer. Wait, hold the knob there. I think I saw a door with a knob like this. To the right, then left, then about 9 to 10 doors down. Thank you. D11424 walks down the line of doors for 5 minutes before finding a door with a knob identical to SCP-2479. Wait, what? We think the entity we were just speaking to might help with research involving sentient household objects. Okay. Is it possible you could bring it with you? You want me to bring back a door. It was made of wood, right? Can't be that heavy. It hit me in the face. Come at it from behind. D11424 inspects the ground around the closed door. They're all bolted to the ground anyways. Fine, proceed. D11424 opens the door and enters the original SCP-4471 instance he entered from. End log. Notice from the Foundation Department of Petaphysics. Due to recent developments, study and research of SCP SCP-5317 has been transferred to the Department of Petaphysics. The following document, corresponding to the last revision by the Department of Anomalous Locations, will be kept as reference until an updated version is ready. Pierre Menard, Department of Petaphysics Director. Item Number SCP-5317. Security Level 3. Containment Class Safe. Disruption Class Dark. Risk Class Caution. Special Containment Procedures. Personnel assigned to SCP-5317 containment and research duty are to be administered regular doses of Class W mnestics to counteract its anti-mimetic effects. An exclusion zone, 15 kilometers in diameter, is to be enforced around SCP-5317. Any images of the Atacama Desert found in social and public media that might contain SCP-5317 are to be censored. SCP-5317 is partially self-contained, and thus no further measures are needed. Important notice: no further expeditions into SCP-5317 are to be scheduled by order of Dr. Menard. Description: SCP-5317 is a tower located in the Atacama Desert, Chile, approximately 60 kilometers away from the city of Copiapó, the closest population center. Direct observation of SCP-5317 has a mild cognitohazardous effect, making observers convinced that they ought not to be there, and that something terrible will happen if they reach the top floor. Furthermore, an anti-mimetic effect is present, erasing all memories of SCP-5317 after leaving its line of sight. SCP-5317 has 7 floors, which exhibit vastly different and anachronistic architectural styles, while it appears that the entrances of each stairway leading from one floor to the next were sealed in the past via several mechanisms, both anomalous and non-anomalous. Most of these seals appear to have been broken at some point in the past. The reason for this is unknown. Several objects that appear to be linked to known groups of interest have been found during expeditions into SCP-5317. Dating of these objects is inconsistent, and no connections between these groups of interest and current or former inhabitants of the zone have been found. Addendum 5317-1 Expedition Logs. Initial Manned Exploration Video Log Transcript. Date 23rd of January 2007. Expedition Personnel D11424, Exploration Specialist. Mission Control, Dr. Lockhart, Department of Anomalous Locations, South American Division. D11424 turns on helmet-mounted camera and faces it, making a mocking salutation gesture before putting the helmet on. Are you sure this is just not another pet project of these artsy weirdos to mess with you, Doc? I mean, wasn't your informant some defective from them or something? Trust me, this is a possibility we are still considering. This seems like too much effort just to mess with us, though. And, redacted. Note, an artist currently working with the Foundation as a consultant. Their identity has been redacted for safety reasons. Hasn't given us reason to doubt them yet. Well, if I die here and my body turns into some weird Daddist project, please tell those morons for me that such jokes were never cool, okay? Noted. SCP-5317 appears on the mounted camera's field of view. The tower appears to be mostly black from the outside, with no real decorations besides some engravings resembling thorns. Crap! The thing really looks ominous. I really feel like I should not be here. Are you sure we need to know what's inside, Doc? Afraid so. 1144, please take the mnestics now. We do not want you to lose focus here. D11424 ingests a Class W mnestic pill and proceeds towards the tower entrance. The doors appear to have been broken by an impact from a heavy blunt instrument. Got your doors, Doc. These doors look as if they were made from a giant beetle or something. Chitin, is that the right word? It's sort of disgusting. Also, somebody got here before us, it seems. Somebody with a real distaste for What's this? D11424 picks up a partially burnt drawing notebook, with handwriting consistent with redacted. D11424 flips through the pages, with the camera catching glimpses of a sketch map of the nearby area, and a drawing of something resembling black thorny veins restricting a flower resembling a spider lily. Below the drawing, the words "turn back" are visible. Doc, are you really sure they aren't just trolling us? I should have just turned back now. I don't trust these supposed artists at all. I bet they just want to make my blood turn into ink or something. There are no signs of any kind of anomalous activity near the doors, so it's probably completely safe to enter. Probably. Please, just go inside. We will extract you if something goes awry. Ew, that's disgusting. It's full of these tentacle-like things, like fleshy and rotten, or dead, it seems. But I won't take any chances. Those who enter the doors seem to be as much fans of squids as of beetles. Shall I take a sample? Please do so. Also, verify if there are something else of interest. Writing, signs of whoever went inside before us. Anything that could help us to understand the anomaly. D1144 picks up a tendril and extracts a tissue sample, pocketing it afterwards. Later analysis would show that DNA is consistent with human baseline, and that the appendages contained an unknown form of paralytic venom. All tissue samples exhibit 100% cell death. I suppose those are made to stop people from going further inside. Nothing of interest beyond those things here. Please tell me we can call it a day and stop now. Who am I kidding? You won't, Doc. A tinkling noise is felt as D11424 takes a small shiny object. D11424 picks it up. It's a cog? Makes sense. This place looks like a disco for those flesh maniacs. Of course, the mechanic dudes would come here to stop the fun. At this point, connection with D11424 was temporarily lost. After a few minutes, the camera feed resumed, but with diminished clarity. This is presumed to be due to the composition of the room. Hear me? Hello, Doc, are you there? Video feed shows a room coated in metallic plating, which is presumed to be the cause of the drop in communication quality. The metal appears to be severely corroded, and remnants of what appeared to be a large amount of mechanical automata are visible. I hear you, 1144. We lost communication for a few minutes, it seems. Care to send a verification passphrase to make sure you weren't compromised? Also, are you observing right now? Extraneous information redacted. Right now, I'm in a room that appears to be entirely built by the metalheads, the only sort of people who would presently destroy a room of tentacles instead of just getting the frick away from them. But then, why did they build us here? It's like they realized that the Sarkic dudes are right on something for once and threw something together to try to fix what they screwed up. Is that a sort of command center? Maybe that was what controlled all those robots before they were recycled into room decorations? The camera focuses on a badly damaged machine on the corner of the room. An automated sensor on D11424's gear beeps loudly. 144, whatever you do, do not get closer to the machine. The sensors inform us that there is some sort of biohazard here, possibly SCP-217. We might have to quarantine you when you return, just in case. Note, no signs of SCP-217 infection were found on D11424 upon their return. Oh, well, Rick, Well, if I'm screwed already, I suppose I have nothing to lose by going to the next floor. That's what you are going to tell me anyways, no? Go ahead, 11424. Wow, this floor looks like an observatory. I really can't see the stars. Definitely not something those robot-obsessed fanatics would make. Actually, our relationship with the Church of the Broken God has improved a lot during the past few years, as hard as it might be to believe. We are not receiving any meaningful visual feed. It would be helpful if you enable night enhancement mode while you explore the floor. The silhouette of D1144 is seen adjusting the body camera. After the enhanced mode is activated, the floor, walls, and ceiling can be seen to contain illustrations of several systems of stars, some matching known constellations. After taking a few steps, the camera shakes as D1144 winces when looking at a specific constellation. Crap! Are you okay, 1144? What happened? It felt like somebody squeezed my brain. I won't look near it again. But maybe you can find out what this thing is, Doc. D1144 points the camera at a specific point in the wall, where one of the unknown constellations is located. The image appears unfocused for a second, before being automatically censored by the scramble filter built into the video feed. There is some text written in dark red substance covering the constellation. Oh! The scramble filter marked it as a strong magnetic kill agent. Whoever vandalized it probably saved your life, 1144. Can you move the camera closer so I can examine the text? Also, it should be a good idea to wear your scramble goggles as well. There may be other mimetic hazards around, and not even you can try your luck so many times. I'm working for a weird fascist organization in a job that involves having to run away from tentacle parrot monsters once a week or so. I won't use the word luck, Doc. Although I have to admit, half the people I've met so far have become parrot food in the end. And not just like these. Brief pause as D1144 adjusts their equipment and moves closer to the image. Looks like pure gibberish to me, Doc. A token. It essentially says, turn away. I suspect it's written in blood then. Can you see if there is more text around? I'm currently tempted to consider the text written in blood as a higher authority than you at this moment, Doc. But your concept of end of contract probably involves getting hunted by some task force or something, so... D1144 wanders around the floor, while several sections in the walls get marked as mimetic kill agents in the video feed. All of them are censored by various messages in Autothan. Let me guess, all of them say leave or something like that. That would be correct. Without the scramble gear, nobody can survive that many mimetic kill agents at once, even if they are censored. Maybe you should proceed to the next floor. I can see the door to the stairway already in your feed. It appears broken as well. That makes it 4. Okay, hey Doc, there's something out of place here. It looks like paper? Camera feed points towards the floor, in which a large amount of scattered pieces of paper can be seen. Some appear to be folded into basic origami shapes, and most of them have been scorched or cut with some sharp instrument. Origami-based guardians are common in holy places for the Church of the Second High Thoth, but it doesn't make sense. What do they have in common with the Sarkics or the Mechanites? Wouldn't it for the sheer amount of effort involved? I would be completely on board with your art exhibition to mess with the Foundation theory. Maybe it's a trap? Maybe it's a trap. I will check with my superiors to see if it's possible to call off the expedition. This is starting to look like a work for a task force by now. Freaking finally! At this point, communications with D1144 are put on hold as Dr. Lockhart contacts the head researcher for SCP-2317, Dr. Latoy. The request to end the mission is rejected, citing D1144's previous experience in the field and the adequateness of their equipment. Sheesh, at least I'm halfway up there. Does this look like a church to you, Doc? D11424's equipment detects a spike in X radiation upon entering the next floor. The floor is composed of marble, and the room has an architectural style similar in appearance to a Catholic cathedral, with wooden iconography associated with Christianity, Islam, and Judaism present along with the floor and walls. Columns containing small fountains of what appears to be holy water are present, in an arrangement similar to those used by certain exorcism rituals devised by the Horizon Initiative. Are you religious, 11424? We detected a spike in X radiation, that is, faith, when you entered the floor. I suppose that is less of a personal question and more you wanting to make sure I'm not interfering with the census, Doc. Then again, if there is a God, you probably have it in a box at Site 77 or something. Who knows? And if you don't, you probably have tried to. In our defense, locking God in a box is probably safer than shooting him down with tactical nuke, after all. But that's something that would be above my clearance. Perhaps even SCP-001 material or something. Camera focuses on what appears to be a large broken cross sitting in the middle of the room. D1144 moves closer to investigate. All burnt down, it seems. This is not standard Christian imagery, is it? Are those cicadas? Definitely not native to the area, even discounting that you're in the middle of a desert. If we ignore the cicadas, this certainly seems to be a countermeasure against intruders in the style of the Horizon Initiative, but it's all broken down, just like in the floors below. Maybe these cicadas have something to do with it. Please bring a sample. Done. What's the leading theory currently? The Artros one or the I have no frickin' clue what is going on proposal? I wish I have something else to give to you, 11424. If there isn't anything noteworthy left, I suggest you proceed to the next floor, as per Dr. Latoy's instructions. Oh yeah, the 5th floor. I know exactly what we're going to find here. This is going to be fun. I dare say that tone is uncalled for, 11424. Now hold on. I have a message from the head of another research department regarding our expedition. Won't be but a moment. Please verify that your scramble gear is still operational. Hazardous magnetic imagery is to be expected. As you can see, my sarcasm was perfectly called for. Obviously, those lunatics are going to be in this floor. They couldn't let such an opportunity pass. Enough, 1144. Please report what you are seeing. Thank you. As you can see, this floor has the same general aesthetic sense you expect from any other lunatic who is obsessed with the number 5. 5 columns, each with an eye-like carving, looking at the center of the room, and these tiles. I'll admit that the floor decoration looks neat, though. Still, I can't wait until that Menard dude convinces the toy to let me go, Doc. I'm now sure that I'm not supposed to be here. By the way, that's a strange name, no? Pierre Menard. Isn't that the dude from Static obscures the end of D11424's sentence. The camera pans along the floor, revealing 5 columns, as described by D11424. The floor is tiled within a period pattern closely resembling a Penrose tiling. The columns and the walls have designs resembling starfish, hands, and fractals with 5-fold symmetry. I think the countermeasures in this floor still work somewhat. I feel this faint pressure in my brain, like I had spiders crawling there inside my brain. Little 5-digit ones. It gets worse when you get close to the center of the room. It seems that this protection has been weakened as well. Can you get to the center? If it gets too bad, we'll just call out the mission. Don't worry. D11424 grunts in response and walks towards the center. Above the center of the room, there is an opening leading to the next floor, seemingly the only entrance. A piece of rope hangs from it. There, I'm at the center. Haven't died as far as I can tell, so the 5th trap must be broken as well. Should I... What's that? It has your insignia, the 3 L's thing. Let's see... The camera pans down to the bottom end of the rope. A Polaroid photograph is attached to it, with a pin bearing the SCP Foundation insignia. The photograph depicts a marriage ceremony. Most of the image is obscured by what seems to be black smoke, but the groom and bride are clearly visible. D11424 attempts to remove the pin or the photograph to no avail. Can't take it out. You won't have to be satisfied with a photo of a photo, not you. This pressure sensation diminishes just a little bit when observing it. Are those people from the Foundation? I have no information in that regard. They do not seem familiar, at least. Now, please proceed to the next. A phone is heard. Communication is interrupted as Dr. Lockhart answers. D11424? I've been informed that Dr. Menard will join us for the final part of the exploration. In representation of the Petaphysics Department, it appears that there is something of interest to them regarding SCP-2317. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I need to make some observation to confirm my current hypothesis. Please, proceed to the next floor as instructed by Dr. Lockhart. At this point, a small portion of the video logs, corresponding to a span of about 5 minutes, were lost due to storage media failure. The video resumes after D11424 has access to the 6th floor. Viewing by narrative patterns, it sounds like my English classes from high school when they talk about stories and fictions and whatever. Definitely nothing related to an ominous black spiky tower in the middle of nowhere. It's more complicated than that. We narrate stories about ourselves daily, our memories, our journals, even our bank statements. Metafictional anomalies, supposedly limited to the realm of novels, can affect reality by proxy in this way. Doesn't mean our world is fictional or anything, though. Now, what do you see here? There is still a lot of snake imagery, Doc, and books, although badly burned. I think none of them has anything worthwhile now. Let's see this one. The only words I can distinguish are something like thaumaturgy, warding rituals, but this one definitely doesn't do anything now. I haven't spontaneously combusted or anything. There is a big pair of doors here, though. Shall I try to open them? No, I do not recommend that. 1144, please approach the door, but do not try to open them. We still need more information to assert the nature of SCP-2317. D1144 approaches the door, holding a portable counter. Measurements indicate that the door has a Hume level of 1,400% above baseline. Theoretically, it would be impossible for any baseline human to interact in any meaningful way with it. The door is made of unidentified black material and has engravings resembling thorns and veins across its surface. Something resembling text is present in the door, but appears to have been intentionally obscured by the aforementioned engravings and is unreadable. Did you even ask that end artist why they even tried to get here? Did they know this is going to be up here? Dr. Lockhart, isn't it strange that an end artist defects to the Foundation of all places? Did you investigate Redacted before hiring them as a consultant? Their latest art projects. They were very open about it, actually. The art of containment. So, do you think they wanted to study SCP-2317? This is narrative containment. All the narrative cues are there. Whatever it is behind this door, we will never know by design, and it must stay that way. We should turn back now and make sure that the story behind that door is never told. There are no plans to send any further expeditions, nor try to access the 7th floor. An old story forgotten by many. One shard of the god of Lesh, 2,000 automata serving McCain, the guardians who stave off the 3rd Hytorth. They who were gathered by the 4 Gospels, the eyes who watched the stars die in 5s, and the 6-fingered serpentine hand. all gathered to seal the king in red robes away from his bride to rot alone forever. His followers disbanded, his children are gone, and yet he laughed as the seals broke over and over and over and over and over and over again. Sure of his return, of his triumph, he proclaimed, 7 brides, 7 spears, 7 gates for the Scarlet King. But the Lady of Black Thorns was clever, and sealed the king in his own tail, the marks of his liberation becoming those of his demise, and so too late he realized that the number 7 was never his.